Hey guys, welcome back to another... Oh my god, that's my alarm. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of, I guess, build showcase. Yeah, that. So, today we're just going to be looking at the latest build that I have made for my YouTube short series called Build Bites. If you haven't seen how this build was made, you can go check that out on YouTube Shorts under my channel. Yeah, it's a pretty cool build time lapse if you want to go check that out, and I give a little more info on this build and like my inspiration and whatnot for it. If you don't want to watch that, I'll just give you the gist of it. It was pretty much that I had recently updated all my my Minecraft and my shaders and everything to 1.21.4 or whatever this current version is with the Pale Garden, so I decided to work on using the Pale Oak essentially for the first time, I guess. I had never used this wood before, so I guess this is just kind of what I came up with beforehand. Lastly, if you guys enjoy this build, please make sure to give it a like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave any comments, what you think, what I should maybe work on next, any feedback. Would really appreciate it. And yeah, let's get right into the video. So right now we're looking at the very front of the build. I guess my process for this is going to be like, I'm going to work my way around the outside, I'm going to showcase that, and then I'm going to go into the inside because it's fully furnished. So, and then I'll explain a little bit of everything as I go. Going around the outside, it's a pretty simple build actually. It's a rectangle essentially. There's nothing special about the rough shape of this build. It's pretty much a rectangle stacked on top of a much smaller rectangle, and that essentially creates the silhouette, the general silhouette of the build. But obviously, I think that what brings it mostly together is the roof shapes and just the blend of A-frame roofs and technically I believe these are called like matchbox roofs. I don't really know the specifics, but it's the slab roof. So going on to the front, most of the window designs are actually very similar across all sides. So if you look towards the front and you look towards the sides, all the windows are pretty much exactly the same except for this one in the center, just mainly because I wanted to make this the centerpiece window. So I added these signs along the sides just to add that little bit of extra detail. Obviously, the biggest factor, or the the big elephant in the room, is this massive almost rock foundation that this build has. When I initially built this house, I just figured it looked a little flat, so like it just looked kind of like a little too generic for me, so I decided to put it on this like mound of stone, and there's actually like waterfalls along the sides here, which just adds to that little bit of like I guess natural aesthetic. And once I had finished that, I figured that it still looked a little bit too empty, so then I actually decided to work on some custom trees. And since I was blending cherry with pale oak trees, I decided to also blend them into the custom tree. So this custom tree has pale oak leaves with cherry leaves. If you guys have watched previous Build Bites episodes or anything like that, you guys would know that I don't like to build custom trees. They're practically the bane of my existence. I thoroughly dislike building trees just because they're extremely time consuming and quite tedious to get the shape right. So I think for me this is like, I was so excited about this build and ready to show it to you guys that I have put in the extra effort to make this tree and that tiny one over there, which is on the left side here, which also has a bit of the elements of the bigger one. So going around to the sides, you can see the different roof variations here. Pretty much like the outside, what you see in the front is kind of what you get all around the build. It's pretty much the same window design all throughout, and just a bit of like roof variation with a couple like pale oak leaves like dropped around the build, just to give it that lived-in feeling. When you get to the entrance, this is I think a good building tip. I've seen a couple people use it. I use it a lot, especially if I want to create more depth with my doors. What I do is that if I want to make the door seem bigger than it actually is, I use trapdoors of the same type as the door itself, and I pretty much stack them one block back. So as you can see, this is one block, so this goes technically inside the house, and you just get this much larger doorway, which I think just fills up the space significantly more than just having a single door. So now that we're going inside, I just want to preface the rest of this interior section that this is one of my more favorite interiors, just because I used quite a bit of color and different types of blocks. So yeah, that was pretty much the only comment I wanted to make about this. So in the very entrance, we have what is called the, I think in house terms, it's called the foyer. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, this is essentially the entrance area. This is kind of like, you know, in a typical house where you'd like take off your shoes and like you put your coat on the rack and whatever. So in this area, we just have a couple little plants, some bookshelves up here, and we have a couple tables here, a jukebox. This loom is just supposed to be there just because it looks interesting. I don't really know what it's supposed to be in this case, but yeah, you just have a couple little like decorations and some clutter here, so it makes it look more homely, I guess. And yeah, I used quite a bit of paintings in this house, so I think this was probably the most paintings I've ever used in a build, so keep an eye out for them. So one more thing about this room is the roof, or the ceiling, sorry, is actually, I use these oxidized copper trapdoors. Just as a tip, generally, what I like to do is I like to incorporate trapdoors into the roof, whether it's a similar color or a contrasting color. Just because I often feel like the roofs kind of get, or the ceilings kind of get left out very often. So I just kind of did this little design just to add a little more intricacy to the ceiling, just because I felt like it was looking extremely empty in this case. So heading into the back, we have essentially what is an office. This is kind of where you would generally, I guess, keep your valuables and stuff, or like anything that you're currently working on. So as you can see, there's a little desk with a chair here, a couple decorations. These are the oxidized copper bulbs from the previous update, which I also didn't get to use until today. So I really have been liking building with these as of lately. Pretty much the utility to this room is really about the large amounts of barrels here that you just got. Pretty much a pretty decent amount of storage up here just to go through all of them. And yeah, you just got a nice armor stand here if you want to showcase some armor or whatever, and you get these really nice windows to the outside. So there's also a lot of like natural light around this house that I also really like. So heading back into the main room, and then we are gonna go, I think we're gonna go left here. So this is actually the kitchen area, and I wanted to make something a little more, I guess like Minecraft-y. I didn't want to create like a proper kitchen, like a modern kitchen or anything like that. So this is kind of more like what an average player would kind of make in like a survival world, and I just kind of generally wanted to stick to that aesthetic throughout the house, if that makes sense. So as you can see, this room actually has a different roof style. So we use pillow trapdoors here, which I just think it adds a much nicer look to the ceiling here with the lanterns and everything. And yeah, you just have some smokers here, some extra storage, and over here is the trash can. If you have like anything you want to throw out, you can like throw it into this compost, make some bone meal if you'd like. Yeah, that pretty much sums up the kitchen area. You also have some nice windows. Like I mentioned before, lots of natural light. So heading into the back room, this one was a little weird to place here. Unfortunately, the other two rooms also were out of, like, the kitchen couldn't have been in a place that made a lot of sense with the room that was next to it, if that makes absolutely any sense. So what I'm trying to say is that it is a little weird that the smithing area is next to the kitchen, but there was no other combinations of the rooms that made sense either, so, you know, it didn't matter, I guess. Like I mentioned before, the smithing area, and there's just a couple shulker boxes, more storage area here, and we have the anvil and the, what is this called again? The grindstone. And we just have pretty much all the essentials here to smelt and process ores, make armor. You also have an ender chest if you ever go to the end and get some armor and stuff from like the end cities, which I typically like doing. We also have a couple nice shelves here. Something that I mentioned in my last showcase video was these beehives where they look like filing boxes, like for long-term storage. So if you see these, that's pretty much what they are. I think they look very similar, and yeah, I just really like the way they look on like shelves and stuff. It just looks like little like boxes where you like put trinkets and stuff in there. Oh, that's missing there. The dragon egg is in here for some reason. I typically always had a dragon egg to my builds. I don't know why, but it's kind of become a habit. So coming out of the smithing area into the kitchen and into the main area, we now head over to the right side, which this is kind of the half smithing area. I mean, there's also an anvil and a grindstone here, but this is kind of more so like an extension of the enchanting room, which is down in that way. So this is just in case if like you don't want to run all the way around the house to unenchant something because you're trying to get a specific enchantment on your tools. So it's just kind of there to for convenience purposes more than anything. And yeah, this also serves as like the storage room as well. So you have a lot of chests up here, and you have a bunch of chests going along the top here, and a large chest down here. So if there is something in this house that there is a lot of, is definitely storage. So moving on to the final room and the first floor is the enchantment area. There wasn't really anything special done with this. I mean, this is a level 30 enchantment table. So it works perfectly fine. There's also some storage up here if you want to put like books or enchanted weapons or armor, just in case. Obviously I use the copper bulbs here, which I also really like. And yeah, I just put a smithing table, a fletching table, and a cartographer's table here, and some extra storage hidden along the sides of the windows here. So yeah, nothing too special. I mean, there's some pretty nice windows. And yeah, one more thing that I wanted to mention was that the ceiling here actually is different than the rest of the house, where there's almost like this kind of like scaffolding almost, and there's lights that go above it. And then there's lights that go under it, and if you look up, I just think it makes like a really nice and interesting ceiling design as well. So now we're coming out of the enchantment room and the storage room, and we are going to head upstairs. And the upstairs area is kind of like the living space. It's actually not very large, so we're kind of, I guess, coming up towards the end of the video here. So pretty much you have kind of like a nice little living room up here with some bookshelves, some paintings, some decorations, and I think this might be like my favorite part when like I look up. So I wanted to incorporate more of that oxidized copper on the roof, like on the second floor. So I made almost like this support structure on the inside of the roof to like, it looks like it's structural, like it looks like it makes it, what am I trying to say? I wanted to make it look like it was structurally sound, so I added this as an extra pop of color. And then I added this lantern, which is just a chain, some cut copper, and a pearlescent froglight, and some amethyst at the bottom, which makes a very simple lantern, but I just think that it adds a lot to the area. And obviously I wanted to add some outside foliage, so I just made like this kind of overgrown hanging plant that hangs over the desks here. And yeah, I mean, obviously you get a very nice view along the sides. You can actually see the large tree from over here. And it also lets a lot of light in from the outside, so I just really, really appreciate that from this build. So this house also has 2 bedrooms. which is perfect if you want to share, or if you don't, you can pretty much take down the wall between them and have like one big bedroom. So we're gonna go into the first one, which is just they're not like super large bedrooms. I personally don't really use the bedroom and like a bedroom for much in game when I'm playing. So like obviously other than sleeping, so I didn't add too much, just some simple decorations, an ender chest so you can keep your valuables, some more storage options here if you just want to keep some stuff away from other players, like if you don't want people touching your stuff, you know that whatever's in your room is like off limits. And yeah, and some nice pink beds, and you can actually see up here that we have the skylight, which lets a lot of like natural light into the build as well. Another thing that I like doing for walls is this, I like using terracotta to make like almost like these paintings that are incorporated into the walls. They don't take up any space. And yeah, I just think it adds a nice little like pop of color and it looks nice. So I think that's about it for this bedroom. Coming out of this bedroom and going into the other one, there's nothing too special about this. This one is pretty much the same size, except it's oriented a little differently. So the bed's actually up against the doorway, and you have a couple more storage options up here, a couple shelves, some bookshelves, cartographer's table for decoration, and you also get access to the same skylight. And since the wall here is shared, you also get what is the same quote-unquote wallpaper as the other room. And yeah, here I did gray beds because the pale oak, and the other room was like the cherry themed room. So yeah, you obviously get some small windows that look out, let some light in, and it's just a very cozy bedroom in my opinion. I really like these. So we have now reached the end of the video. We've gone through everything that this build has to offer. So, if you guys like this video, please let me know what you think about it. Please let me know what you think of the build, what you think of the commentary, what you think of anything. I always take your feedback into account. I read all the comments. So, if you have absolutely any thoughts or any opinions or just want to have an open discussion, please make sure to comment down below. It really helps me. And yeah, I'm trying to build a little community here of like-minded people who like building in Minecraft, or stuff like that. So if you if that's your vibe, if that's what you want to go for, consider subscribing. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/voidcats. I will also link it in the description. If you want this build in your world, I will leave a schematic as well as instructions on how to use Lightmatica and how to install it if you're new to that. And yeah, if you guys would like to see more videos like this, please let me know. And yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely day. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.